We've been telling you guys about Blue Chew for years, and we ain't stopping anytime soon. That confidence, that performance, that edge that you're going to get in the bedroom and mentally when you check out BlueChew.com and the code FIGHTFUL. First shipment free. Yes, shipment. That's because you don't have to wait in line at the pharmacy, have any awkward conversations with doctors. You're questioned online, and if approved, this ships straight to your door. It excludes all the awkwardness. Now listen, so will that confidence. That's going to get rid of a lot of that awkwardness as well. Same active ingredients as Viagra and Cialis. You know it's going to work. They know it's going to work. And that's why they're willing to give you that first shipment free at BlueChew.com when you use that code FIGHTFUL. Take control. Handle your business. BlueChew.com and the code FIGHTFUL.
Well, we about to handle some business here on a Saturday night. Not that kind of business, but we are going to be talking about AEW Collision here on the Fightful YouTube channel. Rick Ucchino and SP3 riding again together. It's been some time since we've been doing a post-show review, and I think the first time we've done this together on Fightful. So it's good to be here with you, good sir, like old times.
I think we have done a Collision post show because I'm pretty sure I've done it with all of the. Yeah, I think I've done it with all of the Collision post show co-hosts.
I don't know. Normally you're feeling it. See, so often, like I can't work on Saturday nights because of my day job because they keep pulling me all over the place. Usually you're subbing in for me, so I don't know, but my memory is terrible, as you can attest to. Welcome in, guys. Appreciate you joining the show here tonight. 2 full hours early tonight. I like the 7 p.m. start time, by the way, because like I'm still like mentally awake at 9 o'clock. It's very different at 10, trying to get on here and think and compose ideas. So I'm a fan of the 7 p.m. start time on a Saturday night. But yes, we appreciate you guys joining in. Get your super chats in today. Normally, we say get your super chats and humper chats, but neither SP3 or myself have access to the humper chats. So just super chats tonight, please. We always appreciate your support. It is the guaranteed way to get your comment read on the air before we sign off for the evening. This was a jam-packed show. We had Kris Statlander and Toni Storm. They were ready to fight, but then they had to fight alongside one another. We had Eddie Kingston back in action. We had Jamie Hayter taking on Anna Jay, and Tony Khan, he was in a trios mood. He had a trio of trios matches booked for this show, including the main event where Kyle O'Reilly picked up a major victory over the Don Callis family as he's getting set the challenge for the TNT Championship this Tuesday at AEW Dynamite. But this started off tonight, SP3, with a setup for another match that's going to be happening on Title Tuesday. It's going to be Pac. It's going to be Orange Cassidy. I am very, very happy that both of these guys are back in action, and we're going to get to see them go one-on-one on Tuesday.
Yeah, to a lot of people, Pac and Orange Cassidy, their first matchup back at Revolution 2020, to so many like longtime AEW fans, that's like considered kind of like their first favorite match from the company and the match that made them a fan of Orange Cassidy, because up to that point, Orange Cassidy was mainly used as kind of a mascot for the best friends, a character who, you know, was very popular and the fans loved and adored, but they hadn't seen him actually compete in the ring. And his first match in AEW was against Pac, and he blew everybody away, really almost stole the show on that night if it wasn't for arguably the greatest AEW match of all time happening on the same show. I think that would have stole the show that night. And then from there, they feuded over the All-Atlantic Championship with Orange Cassidy taking the title from Pac back in 2022. They've had numerous battles over the past couple of years. So I like Pac kind of introducing this and saying, you know, he's had frustration over the last 6 months, and the main person he wants to take it out on is Orange Cassidy. And I like Orange kind of being a smart babyface. I've been giving credit to AEW. They've been booking their baby faces to be smarter characters than usual. Hangman Adam Page is the key example of that, but Orange Cassidy here saying no Death Riders, no Don Callis family. At least you know what will likely happen. Do I still think that one of those groups will get involved in the matchup, or a member of one of those groups? Yes, I do.
Absolutely.
But I appreciate him acknowledging that.
I agree with you, by the way, on the on Pac saying I got 6 months worth of frustration and there's nobody There's nobody better I can think of to take it out on than Orange Cassidy. And I appreciated that line very much. But it was such a subtle little thing, too. I love the end of it where Pac just assumed that they were on board, and he walks away, and Orange Cassidy's like, yeah, I accept, by the way. Like, you know, I wasn't done with this conversation, but all right, cool.
You just walked away. Like, that was rude. Like that. Orange is awesome. Orange is awesome. I've missed him so much.
Yeah, it's nice to like get people back because so much of the last few months has been we're just taking people from you. We're just putting this dude on the shelf and that dude on the shelf and this lady on the shelf. It's nice to finally get some people back and honestly freshen up the show a little bit too. So I think adding both of them back into the mix is going to work out nicely. I'm looking forward to that matchup in Jacksonville. The opening contest tonight was Jon Moxley, Daniel Garcia, and Claudio Castagnoli defeating Adam Priest, Tommy Billington, and Jay Lethal. The Death Riders picking up the win after I love this finish, this closing sequence, because Danny had Jay Lethal locked in the Dragon Tamer, and then Moxley pulling one out of Seth Rollins' playbook comes in and drops him with the stomp, and then Jay Lethal's just out, and then Danny wrenches back, and the ref's just like, well, yeah, he's done. He's out. You know, go ahead and ring the bell. I thought that was a really nice closing sequence there. Competitive trios match as well. You could tell they're giving Priest and Billington a little bit more each time that they're out there. They're still at that early phase where you know they ain't winning, but they can still go out there and put on a good show. I thought they did that tonight.
Yeah, I like Priest. I like Billington. I like them as a tag team. I thought their matchup with FTR a couple of weeks ago was really, really damn good. And I thought this matchup here was solid enough. I just didn't think that the Death Riders should take this long to beat these guys. And it was a little too long for me personally, with former 4-time AEW World Champion Jon Moxley, with arguably the top heel faction in AEW. You got Claudio Castagnoli, former Ring of Honor World Champion. You get Daniel Garcia, former TNT champion. We all knew who was going to win this match going into it. I didn't need it to be, over 10 minutes. Just me personally. If you like the matchup, fine by you. That's my opinion. I didn't need
a little more realism. Yeah, a little more realism into that, especially when, you can tell when they are trying to squeeze everything into 2 hours on these pre-tape shows by how quickly the transitions are from match to match and segment to segment, and how quickly Tony Schiavone is having to talk on commentary to transition everything. So yeah, maybe they could have saved a little bit of time by having this be 6 minutes or 8 minutes, and those 2 minutes could have gone a long way.
I think 8 minutes sounds about right, but really what you got out of this whole thing is the post match. I thought the post match was really good. I thought it was the logical kind of next step that they're telling with this Daniel Garcia character and him turning on Daddy Magic and joining with the Death Riders, and it was a little bit of truth. I'll be honest, like he was that might have been Daniel Garcia's best promo.
Yeah, I agree with you. You took the words right out of my mouth. So, first off, I thought Daddy Magic played his role perfectly here, where he immediately gets up off the commentary desk and is in Daniel Garcia's face, and he is literally challenging his manhood, saying, "You don't have the balls to talk to me." And again, I thought Danny played this so perfectly too, because it's like he doesn't make eye contact with the man. He doesn't make eye contact with him until he turns around, grabs a microphone, and then turns around and stares at him in the face. And he goes, all right, you didn't get the hint from last week. So now I'm just going to have to go ahead and just tell you this. And you could tell he didn't want to have to break his heart like this. But he said, look, I did love you like a brother. All right. But when I'm hanging around with you, I was a loser because you are a loser. Now I'm hanging around with winners, and I'm going to go be a winner. Had I stayed around with you, I would have ended up like that parasite. And he points at Nigel McGuinness.
And Nigel's like, who, me? He's like, he's like asking Tony Schiavone. He's like, did he just point to me?
He pulled the whole 50 Cent. He's like, the fuck? talking to me for, right?
How you say fuck me for? What did I do?
I thought that reaction was great, but Moxley's reaction was priceless, where they capture him like straight up, close up, and he's just going, damn, like even he wasn't expecting that liner out of Daniel Garcia. 2 instant priceless reactions. It was hilarious. I'm like, that is GIF-worthy reaction from Moxley. And within like seconds of me thinking that, it's all over my damn timeline. And I'm like, thank you, people who know how to clip GIFs, because I still haven't taught myself how to do it. I'm way overdue on that. But he finishes up. He's like, look, you don't have to accept this decision, but I need you to understand it. And I think deep down, if we're being realistic here, Daddy Magic has to understand it, because he knows that DG was throwing some truth bombs here tonight.
And it would just make him look stupid if he's still being like getting in his face, asking him for answers and stuff. He gave you the answer physically last week in the trios matchup. He gave you the answer verbally this week, and basically verbally stomped you into the mat like he did last week. This was great. I thought this was like the best work that they've done so far for Daniel Garcia turning to the Death Riders. I think they need to switch up his presentation, his attire a bit. I think for a while, even before he joined the Death Riders, his attire wasn't the best. I think once they figure that out, presentation wise, character wise, they're on a good track with Daniel Garcia. But I really enjoyed this post-match promo.
Yeah, and guys, I'll say this for everybody who is like loving the Mox reactions tonight. The next time you go to a show live and Jon Moxley is on the card, especially if it's like a tag team match, do yourself a favor and just focus on Moxley for the entirety of the match. Because what that man does when the camera is not on him and when the audience is not necessarily paying attention to him is gold. It is hilarious. It is fun to watch him work even when he is not in the ring. Do yourself a favor and check out that next time, because his reactions are always priceless, and I was so glad that they were able to capture this one on screen tonight. We did get a medical update on Nick Wayne backstage. This Renee Paquette was involved in this one, and she's interviewing Nick Wayne, and he's all confident that he's going to be cleared from his broken foot after 6 weeks. Says he's never felt better. He's ready to get cleared right now. And then the doc goes, yeah, I don't know what the hell you're talking about. You're still swollen. You know, you're going to be out for at least another 6 to 8 weeks. And immediately and rather curtly, they said, nah, we're going to seek a second opinion on this one. I believe, oh God, who was it? Was it Kip Sabian who called him a doc from WebMD?
Yes.
So it sucks that Nick Wayne is going to be out for a little bit longer, but if they can keep him on television and he's good enough to travel, get him back on television, I think it's a step in the right direction, but it sucks that he's still going to be out for a while.
They have to figure out something with the Ring of Honor World Television Championship, because they tend to do this a lot if there's an injury to a champion in Ring of Honor, where they just keep the title on him and just don't say anything. Like, just keep it on him and don't say anything if he's not defending the title for months. They did that with Wheeler Yuta last year. He was out for 6 months and he was still Ring of Honor pure champion. I think they did that for Shibata for a stint as well. They're trying to do that right now with Red Velvet. At least they came up with an interim World Television Women's Champion for that side. So hopefully they come up with an interim World Television Champion for the men's side. And I would suggest AR Fox. I think AR Fox and Nick Wayne was a match that they were going to build to for a Ring of Honor pay-per-view. So why not just give him a big win, a win that he, would be a big surprise. It would be a big payoff for all the times that AR Fox has gotten over in spots where he was just the jobber to the stars. He's the guy that I think that they can make like the veteran babyface for the Ring of Honor brand. So I think someone like AR Fox could be the interim champion.
You could sign me up for that, or you could just have, honestly, in my opinion, you could just have Fox win it outright by having Nick Wayne do something where he has Kip Sabian, wrestle as his surrogate. Like, you could have it where he's gonna be stripped from the title, and he's like, but no, we cool. We got Kip. He can wrestle. He can wrestle in my place. Rules don't matter. This is pro wrestling. You can make them up as you go.
Yeah.
Say, all right, that's fine. And then in the first match, he loses it to AR Fox or somebody like that. You could pull.
That makes sense.
Yeah, but again, you are right. You have to figure out something with that title. We got Orion Ben 666 Collision. There are very good reasons we are sickos. Cool.
That's the motto. It's going to be on a t-shirt.
Gotcha. Appreciate the support as always. Again, I know we got we already have some super chats lined up. Again, no humper chats tonight. Neither myself or SP3 have access to them. But we do have some super chats that are lined up. If you put them in for a specific match, I will wait to read those until we get to that match. We do have Kylie, abolish ICE and screw Chick-fil-A. Collision was fun. Collision was indeed. Jamie Hayter. We got Jamie Hayter defeating Anna Jay tonight. I love commentary putting this over heavily. That this was their first meeting since 2021 and that Anna Jay has vastly improved since then. Both things incredibly factual. Did not cause the result to change one iota. Hayter ends up scoring the victory after hitting the Hayter raid. Anna did suffer a bit of a bloody nose, was helped to her feet by Jamie after the match. I did think this was a nice, respectful, competitive contest between two babyface opponents.
Oh, this was a good matchup. I was surprised it was that good. Honestly, it exceeded my expectations. I thought that their match back in the TPS title tournament back in 2021, 2022, that was fine, but this was actually like a good matchup that these two women just hit the hell out of each other. They beat the hell out of each other and it made for a better matchup. I like the show of respect afterwards, which could be kind of an outlier. Like maybe we could see Jamie Hayter calling on Anna Jay to be part of her team in the women's Blood and Guts. So you can use this matchup to play into the bigger story that's going down on November 12th. So like this matchup. And I like the fact that Jamie Hayter, especially over here, that she's kind of like settled in on Collision. She feels kind of refreshed now that she's back. And especially coming off the run that she had in the Owen Hart Cup, where she made the run to the finals and then, lost in a very competitive close matchup, one of the best women's matches of the year against Mercedes Moné. I think the time off immediately after that helps her now, where she feels like she still has that momentum that she had from the tournament, and now has an important role going into the women's Blood and Guts.
Yeah, and it works too because they were able to do that angle with Tekla immediately afterwards, right? Because she wasn't medically cleared, so she did have to take that time off. And now they were able to pick right back up. And I think the death triangle, the toxic triangle, get my triangle.
Triangle of madness. Triangle of madness. You got it wrong twice. Triangle of madness.
Is it?
It's triangle of madness.
They changed
toxic is just her catchphrase. That's just
Tekla. Okay. I always thought
she's the toxic spider.
Okay, I thought, I'm going to have to change that because I just thought I had it. I was completely wrong on what the freaking name was. Toxic
of Triangle. That was awesome, me, Norman.
I'm getting it wrong 3 times. Jesus. Good Lord.
I do like Sisters of Sin as a name. I think I think the Sisters of Sin are going to be in the tag team title tournament.
All right. Anywho, whatever their damn name is, I love the fact that they are the center of this and the driving force on the evil side that is going to be setting up, Blood and Guts, which I'm very excited that we are getting coming up in November. It definitely seems that we are full steam ahead on the Acclaimed reunion. They're acting like they don't want it, but man, I did not. And maybe it's just like, I was not expecting this when they split in January because I was there, Maximum Carnage, when they split in January, and I thought Max Caster was on the fast track to being, a really smarmy, bullshit, hated heel, and he was there, and Anthony Bowens was going to be on the fast track to being a really popular over baby face. And then 6-7 months down the line, it's like, It was completely reversed. Like people are tuning out on Anthony Bowens and people are getting behind Max Caster and they're both still losing. And I'm like, okay, what is the direction here? And now it looks like they're going to find their way back together. Was this the plan the entire time? Like, okay, people have turned down on the Acclaimed. Like, we got to find a way to get people behind them again. I mean, that is some long-term level booking if that was the case, but I feel like there was a pivot called somewhere along the line here. I did enjoy this backstage conversation they had with Big Bill and Brian Keith tonight, too.
To talk about the segment, yeah, I thought the segment was really good. I think that Bowens and Caster are doing this whole story very well. They play their characters really well. I like the fact that Bowens is going more into the delusional heel route now that he is back in Caster's orbit. Him coming out with the multiple plaques with his face, his magazine covers, and his world records. I was like, he is so trying to outdo Caster that he's basically stealing his gimmick. It's hilarious. It's hilarious. I like the interplay between them as we build towards their official reunion with one another. And I thought that Big Bill and Brian Keith played well off of them here to set up the matchup for next week's Homecoming. But man, this is just history repeating itself, people. Because I know a lot of y'all are young, but I'm an old ass man. I got the salt in my beard. Got the salt in my beard. My beard's gonna be gray in like the next year or so. So I've been around for a long time. And since I seen the Acclaim, like early on, when they were back on like AEW Dark, I honestly, when Tony Khan put together Max Caster and Anthony Bowens, I immediately said, I was like, oh man, Tony got his own black New Age Outlaws. I was like, he took the guy who's the really good talker, and he took the guy who's the really good worker, and they make the perfect partnership because Bowen's strength is not talking, it's just in-ring work. He's a really good wrestler. He's the 5'2" player for a reason. Max Caster is not the best in-ring worker, but he's an amazing talker, and he's a good character worker. So them together made the perfect partnership in the similar way. In 1997, it was the perfect partnership to put Road Dogg Jesse James with a badass Billy Gunn, and they became this top heel tag team. And for the Acclaim, they organically got over after, losing, and then finally getting a role on TV and eventually getting a shot against Swerve in Our Glory. They got over in a big way. They became the most popular tag team, one of the best homegrown stories in AEW history, winning the tag team titles, winning the trios titles, but then it got stale. It got stale like anything in wrestling. After a year and a half, 2 years of the same thing, it got stale. So they needed to separate from each other. But like I said before, this is just history repeating itself. In 1999, May of 1999, WWE decided to break up the New Age Outlaws and separate them to see if they could become top single stars on their own. And they really put in an effort. They made Billy Gunn the King of the Ring. They had him feud with The Rock. They made Road Dogg a single star and had his whole story with like X-Pac and China and all that over the DX rights and stuff like that.
He had the title for like 8 minutes.
He won the IC title. Billy Gunn won the hardcore title. Like at least WWE back in that day, they actually tried to make them stars. But guess what, Rick? You want to know when the New Age Outlaws reunited? In October of 1999. 5 months after they broke up, they just reunited them because they realized we gave them the freshman try. We gave it a try, but they're much better together than separate. And I think that's what AEW realized over the last 8 months, is that maybe Caster and Bowens are better together right now than separate. So we're getting this story. I'm going along for the ride because I also agree they might be better for right now. Maybe in the future they can break out on their own and become single stars. I'm always willing to give someone a second chance. But for right now, they're better together than separate.
And look, at the end of the day, if people get excited that they are together again and you are able to freshen them up, it's still a win because you can put them right back into the mix of the tag team division. Because like toward the end of their run, it was like they were one of like 3 teams that the tag team division had that were, constantly on TV every week. And you're right, they got stale. Like people got tired of their stick. They got tired of Max Caster's raps. It just really got, old at that point, and it was time to do something different. And if original plans didn't work out and this is what they end up with and people are happy at the end of the day, screw it. It's still a win. You failed, but you failed upward in this situation, and everybody's going to be happier for it in the long run. So they'll probably win next week on Collision Homecoming when they take on Big Bill and Brian Keith. We had a tag team match immediately after this. It was Rush and Sammy Guevara defeating Shane Stetson and Cha-Cha Charlie, and Cha-Cha danced his way right into an ass whooping in this one. Guevara ended up pinning him after a stiff looking senton bomb. This was a squash. Cha-Cha was dead pretty much like minutes before he even hit that senton bomb. They were just toying with like a lion just toying with his food is what this one ended up being. We get these squash matches a lot on Collision. I don't really have a whole lot to add to this. This was just this was basically the appetizer before Eddie Kingston came down and wrestled Dralistico on this one.
Yeah, this was just to give LFI a tag team win. I don't think they've given them a tag team matchup since Sammy joined the group at Death Before Dishonor. So this was just to give them a squash win so the fans of Collision could see them. Maybe they're going to do something with them in the future. Maybe, the next matchup we're going to talk about with Dralistico and Eddie Kingston leads to what I'm calling the Kings of New York to go against LFI down the road. Maybe that's going to be a feud that they do on Collision here. Maybe that's the route that they go for now, but yeah, this was just to establish them, so not much to say. That Swanton was stiff. It feels like Rush is rubbing off on Sam.
I liked how Eddie did not even wait. Like his music hit, and then he's out there as soon as that match was over, and it's like, all right, let's get to this. His opening promo tonight, by the way, was hilarious because they open up the show with the montage and everybody doing this, and he's just annoyed at the fact that he even has to be a part of the montage, and he's blaming Dralistico for making him have to cut this stupid promo. And he's like, I'm pissed that I'm here right now having to talk, so that means I'm going to just take this out on your ass when we get down to the ring. Eddie, it's great that he's back in the same vein as Orange Cassidy and Pac. It's great that he is back on TV. There's definitely been, no doubt, a little bit of ring rust for Eddie since he has been back. He's going to knock that off. I think tonight was a good step toward that. I think this was definitely his best performance since he has been back. He did pick up the win with the spinning back fist tonight. What did you think?
Yeah, Eddie definitely his best performance. I didn't think he looked that good, kind of getting winded at All Out. Last week was kind of a mess of a tornado tag that they had with Brian Keith and Big Bill. But this week we got to see him in a one-on-one with a competitor that he can work with much better than Big Bill. Like I thought that Big Bill was the wrong choice. I thought Big Bill did good with the promo work building up to the matchup, but as far as opponents where Eddie Kingston can get a good match out of, I don't think Big Bill is in the right kind of opponent that's going to get a good match with Eddie Kingston, whereas Dralistico, he's more athletic. He can get the match moving, pick up the pace a little bit. He can bump around and make Eddie Kingston look powerful and look like the hard-hitting badass that he is, and he got to look like that at the end with the Urkin. So good hard-hitting matchup. Love the chops in the matchup. They were echoing throughout this arena in Lakeland. So strong matchup and the first good one, I could say, from Eddie Kingston since his return. It's glad to see Eddie back, but this is going to be something fans have to realize. We got to ease him back in. We got to ease Eddie back in, and I think AEW knows that. That's why they're kind of giving him kind of the lower card to mid card guys right now before they kind of put him back into the mix for real. Yeah,
look, it's just, you can train as much as you want, but there's no reps that match actual in-ring competition when the cameras are on and the lights are on and there's fans in the stands. So he's going to need a few matches under his belt, and he's getting better. But I mean, he was on an absolute heater before. Unfortunately, he suffered the injury and he had to go away for over a year. So he's getting there. Again, great to have him back. Again, get your super chats only tonight, by the way. Super chats only. Neither myself or SB3 have access to Humper Chats, so please don't send a Humper Chat because we can't read it. But if you want to get your comment read on the air tonight, send in a super chat. We always appreciate the support. And if you send in a super chat, and it's about a specific match, I will wait until that match to read it. I see or a promo segment, because the ones we got in the can right now are for Tony and Statlander, which was spectacular. We will get there. But our second trios match of the night was TNT champion Kyle Fletcher, Kinosuke Takeshita, and Josh Alexander defeating the MXM Collection, and I believe what they called an open casting call trios match. Look, they got their asses whooped tonight. I don't care. I want these people on my TV screen every show, whether it's Dynamite, whether it's Collision. They are hilarious. They are just so over the top and so cocky in the best way possible. And then their expressions just completely melted when the Don Callis family music hit and they realized they were about to get their asses whooped. I loved the opening to this. I loved the finish to this because Mansoor, man, say a prayer or whatever you need to do. That man got murdered at the end of this match. It started with Fletcher hitting him with a top rope German suplex that he landed on his belly. Takeshita then hit him with a wheelbarrow pickup slam, followed by Alexander hitting a package pile driver, and then just for good measure, Fletcher hit him with the brainbuster and pinned him. Like, that's a hell of a combo for a man to take, and Mansoor sold it like a champion.
Man, this basketball team, man, people thought that the Thunder was going to repeat. Man, Don Callis family, they're coming for the championship, man. They're the biggest threat. Move over, Houston Rockets. Move over, Denver Nuggets. If you want a basketball team that's going to give the Thunder some trouble, it's the Don Callis family. This was fun. This was the best squash of the night. This was arguably one of the best matches of the night. This was a blast. You got MXM acting like the fools that they are, or MXM TV. I'm upset that we didn't get more references to Seed, their fragrance, their new fragrance, Seed. It's inside you. So I wish that we would have got more of that. But the I won't say the big three of the Don Callis family, but definitely two of the big four of the Don Callis family with Proto Sheeta and Josh Alexander here. I like that Josh Alexander got set up for a matchup with Kota Ibushi. I'm hoping this means that we're eventually going to get the matchup that they teased all the way back a couple of weeks ago on Collision of Josh Alexander versus Kenny Omega. I felt like that was going to happen at All Out after that promo a couple of weeks back when he mentioned that he came to the Don Callis family to face Kenny Omega. I thought we were going to get that, but we haven't yet. It's been like a month since then. So I hope that we get around to that now that he's facing I know. Now that he's facing Kota Ibushi. I mean, Don Callis family, I think, is the best faction in AEW right now. And I think that Don Callis is, honestly, I'll say it here, this might be a hot take, Don Callis is a top 5 MVP of AEW this year. He is like Tony Khan's booking crutch. Oh, I have a heel that I need to put in a prominent position. Put him with the Don Callis family. Oh, this person just lost their faction or just lost their tag team partner. What can I do with them? Put them in the Don Callis family. Oh, I just signed somebody who had disciplinary issues and wellness violations, and I need to put him in a prominent spot right from the get-go when I sign him to get a big moment on my 6th anniversary after he just left WWE. Put him in the Don Callis family. Don Callis is a booking crutch because he gets so much out of Don Callis. He gets a big stable that he can book in multiple different matches across both of his programming. He gets someone who can be on commentary and arguably is the best commentator before Bryan Danielson got there every time he sat down at the table. And he's also a really good manager who enhances. And he's one of the best heels in the company. He gets all the heat. For guys like Takeshita and Fletcher and Okada, and even to a certain extent, like Andrade when he starts wrestling again in AEW. These are all guys that will get kind of good reactions from the crowd because they're so great. Don Callis is the one that gets them the heat. Don Callis is the one that makes them heels. Don Callis is one of the MVPs of the year for AEW.
I don't think that's necessarily that hot of a take, to be completely honest with you. I know some people feel a certain way about Don Callis, but that's kind of makes your point in all sincerity. So yeah, you're not wrong in the slightest. We had the Outrunners and Dalton Castle, who I feel very similarly to them as I do MXM Collection, off of their huge win last Saturday, which was a total spectacle. Dalton Castle is now nervous that they aren't going to be able to live up to that level of a performance again. And he's wondering if they've made a massive mistake. But then you've got, the Outrunners are like, no, man, we got you. Don't worry. We're going to be able to raise that bar every single time. And he's just falls right back into their arms. And suddenly he feels weightless as Lexi Nair just watches on as this greatness. This has been a spectacular addition to AEW programming. I'm so happy that these three are together.
Oh yeah, these three are just comedy gold together. These are just characters that just fit with one another. I pop at the Outrunners promos because they always pop at every 80s professional wrestling reference. Tell them, Castle. Tell him, Dalton. I was like, oh, you guys are hilarious. We'll tell him, brother. I was like, yo, you guys are hilarious. Y'all pop me every time y'all make these references. But yeah, Dalton Castle coming off and acting like he was unsure before they put him gently in their arms. And he says, I'm in good hands. They're just good. They're just great. This is just great together. Yeah. I just need them to have backstage segments every week. I don't need them to wrestle all the time.
So you're gonna laugh at this. I get their name wrong on this show, and I can't remember it right. But in my Collision results piece for the takedown on SI, I had it right. Triangle of Madness attacked Jamie Hayter and Queen Amanada backstage. So I had it right there. Didn't get it right here. Whatever.
Hey, we're live, pal. We're live, pal.
Hey. We all make mistakes, right? Nobody's perfect, and I'll own that one. Anyway, Triangle of Madness attacked Queen Amanada and Jamie Hayter backstage. This was quick, but again, it served its purpose in the fact that that Triangle of Madness is around. They are going to stalk their enemies, and they are going to attack when they see fit, as we will see later on in the show as well. One of my favorite matches and segments of the entire night was Kevin Knight defeating Dax Harwood. SP3, I have a typo in here. A very bad typo I need to fix. But go ahead. What did you think of this one? Kevin Knight defeating Dax Harwood. We'll let you start off with the match here.
Oh, this was a very good matchup. I think I agree with Chad in the chat. This was probably the match of the night. I thought both guys worked really well with each other. I thought Dax Harwood got a little bit more kind of aggression and a more of a hard-hitting style out of Kevin the Jet Knight, who should be used to that type of style, being that he was trained in the New Japan dojo by Katsuyori Shibata. So I think that he was game for this, and we got a little bit more of like a physically intense performance from Kevin the Jet Knight, and he did have to fight to get this win after Dax was just chopping the hell out of them. Like Dax Harwood and Cash Wheeler, like that's why I said when I was talking about Don Callis, he's one of the best heels in AEW, because I think that FTR are the best heels in AEW, and it just works any which way you do it. It's a trios match, a multi-man matchup, tag team matchup. They're the best in the game. Singles matchup, we can get Dax Harwood out here and have the match of the night, and he did it again with Kevin the Jet Knight here. And I like Willow and Speedball getting involved, helping him pick up the win with the UFO splash. It felt like a significant victory for the Jet, despite Dax being a tag team specialist. It felt like one of the bigger names that Kevin Knight has defeated. And then post-match, we got the payoff for the promo that Stokely cut when he said he had a little surprise for Willow Nightingale. Willow going for the babe with the powerbomb on Stokely, only for Megan Bain to come out and attack Willow Nightingale from behind. She was there with Penelope Ford, and it sets up FTR and Megan Bayne versus Willow and Jet Speed for next week's Collision Homecoming, which I'm looking forward to that matchup because I was wondering when we were going to get that match because it was obvious that it was setting up for, I thought it was going to be FTR and Stokely versus Willow and Jet Speed, but you don't want male on woman violence. I just want to see Stokely get beat up by Willow. Just me. I love Stokely, but Willow Nightingale beating up anybody is fun to me. So yeah, and
Stokely, nobody gets their ass kicked better than Stokely.
No one ever gets their ass
he's
kicked
the
better than
best.
Stokely.
That match that he had with Cope in Cincinnati was gold, like absolute gold. That like everything about that. He's just, and he knows it, right? He's so self-aware that he's so easy to be made fun of. He is a target. He knows how to be, to use his shortcomings, pun intended, to play out and be a comedic performer on TV. He's been able to do this for years, and it's smart that AEW has been able to utilize this.
And he cut, and I got another top 5. He cut a top 5 promo of the year because we're still getting "you get no hoe" signs in the crowd. Like that promo, that's a top 5 promo for AEW this year. Like that promo has become a defining trait of Stokely's character.
I mean, that to me is right up there with "you raggedy bitch." Like that's, that some of the best things that he's ever put out on AEW television. It's right up there, and I think it honestly probably usurps that. But I liked this matchup. I like the fact that Knight literally just did not care about Stokely and jumped over him to win this matchup as he was standing in the ring. I also enjoyed Willow getting involved, and it was her and Speedball who neutralized Cash on the outside to allow Knight to pick up the win. I really do like the addition of Megan Bayne. I think this could set this up nicely. You could have a situation down the line. I'm not saying it has to be anytime soon, but you could have a situation down the line where you have FTR and Megan Bayne and Penelope Ford all being managed by Stokely, and both sets of tag titles are in that group. Mm-hmm. I like this. This is, I think, especially when it comes to Megan, who I think has, like, she's the total package as far as a performer is concerned, but maybe character work isn't necessarily as strong as the in-ring work. Having somebody like Stokely be her mouthpiece could really, really take her to the next level. When I saw that this was happening tonight, it got me really excited because I think this could mean good things for Megan Bayne down the line.
Yeah, they have to integrate some of these managers with the female roster. So I wouldn't mind this being the segue to Stokely managing Megan Bayne and Penelope Ford. I think that they would get something out of that because Stokely is just effortlessly entertaining. I would love someone from the women's division to join the Don Callis family, because right now the family looks like a sausage fest. Or like, just saying. You don't even got a wife in the family. Like, this is a straight up sausage fest. What we doing over here? But yeah, add some women to there, add some women with Stokely. That sounds good to me. But yeah, I wouldn't mind Megan Bayne, because I think that she needs something else. She's missing something right now that's keeping her from like championship gold and from the upper echelon of the women's division.
The current upper echelon of the women's division is the AEW Women's World Champion Kris Statlander, and of course, timeless Toni Storm. 2-year anniversary, by the way, today, of when she became officially timeless Toni Storm, and they had a very lovely promo exchange with each other, where they laid down in the ring with one another, and they're just gently caressing their head and their hair. It's like, look, this isn't personal. This isn't personal. This is
Have you ever like dreamt of like ponies and being out in the sunshine and walking on the beach with your love of your life? Like that's how I would think like the girls' conversations are when they lay like that in their room or they lay like that in the backyard. Like they're looking up at the stars. Like how many times have you seen a shooting star?
This was so perfect to the fact that it's like, look, I just want to, like, Kris Statlander is like, I just want to talk right now, and Toni Storm just is like, all right, and she lays down the ring, and Stat's just like, all right, whatever, I'll lay down with you. This is what you want to do, fine. Let's, and they're just having a nice casual conversation, and it's like, this is very unique. This is something you don't see. This is a very unique promo exchange, and it's what, like, this is. I'll compare it to what we saw last night on SmackDown, because like this promo exchange was very similar to, as far as context is concerned, what we saw between Tiffany Stratton and Stephanie Vaquer. Except what we saw between Tiffany Stratton and Stephanie Vaquer was very paint by numbers. It was very bland promo copy. I'm not going to say promo work. I'll say very bland promo copy. And then they spiced it up by having Julia attack at the end.
And that wasn't spicing it up. that was the most predictable thing possible of setting up. Can they coexist tag team match?
Well, I'll just say I was sitting next to a 6-year-old. I wasn't expecting something to come out at that time, because I'm like, I got a 6-year-old next to me who's requesting popcorn and cotton candy and stuff like that. So I haven't watched it back yet. But I'm just sitting there and I'm going, oh, wow, literally nothing happened there. I'm like, cool, okay. And then, oh, here's an attack, and here's Kiana. I'm like, oh, okay, they did decide to do something here. This was almost the exact same in vein, right? Two baby faces talking, respectful to one another, but it was done in a completely different way, and a completely unique way. And the copy, whether it was just to how Toni Storm talks, whatever it is, it just came off so much better because of the character work involved with Toni and the way that they talk to each other and the way that they laid down in the ring. And then afterwards, they're like, we don't have to wait. We could just beat the hell out of each other now for the fun of it. I forget which one said it, but I think it was Toni who said, I thought you would never ask. And then they, throw off all their accessories, and boom, they are at it. And then Triangle of Madness comes down, breaks it up. And then we get Harley Cameron, who comes out, who is just eager for friendship. It doesn't matter who it is, if it's Toni or Kris or Mercedes, she just wants to be loved. And she's out there and she's going right after Tekla. And then you get the double German suplexes in stereo. And the baby faces stand tall. I thought this was an excellent way to do I respect you, but let's throw that crap out the window and let's fight. This was an excellent segment tonight.
Yeah, it felt like one of the first times that I've seen like Statlander have a face-to-face promo exchange, and I think she did pretty well for it. I thought that she was given the hard work here of going through like the fact that they are the two women that's had the most matches and they've never faced each other, and now it's come to this. She respects everything that Toni was able to accomplish with this title, but she's willing, as much as hard as Toni worked to be the champion and create a legacy with this title, that's how she's willing to fight even harder to keep it at Wrestle Dream. I thought that this promo did what you said. You took the words out of my mouth. I was going to compare this to Stephanie Vaquer and Tiffany Stratton, that was devoid of any soul or any character work or any creativity,
any substance whatsoever.
Yeah, the promo work here was like the juxtaposition to that, where you got across both of their characters. Kris Statlander wants to live up to the legacy of Toni Storm, that was a fighting champion that faced any and anybody that would face her. She faced other champions. She faced 3 challengers when she eventually did lose the title. And Statlander is trying to live up to that. That's why she defended the title the first opportunity that she had, that she could. That's why she wrestled again on this week's Dynamite. That's why she's been wrestling and been on almost every show since she's won the title. She is trying to live up to the legacy that Toni Storm set with her last 2 reigns as champion. Meanwhile, you got Toni Storm, who is looking for her murderer, looking for someone to take this burden of the championship away from her to get this feeling back. But when she lost it, she was like devoid of the feeling that she was looking for. because it happened in a 4-way. So now she needs this one-on-one matchup to find out who the hell she is, to remember who she is, to prove that she is still the best in the AEW women's division. And it just put that out there. It made it known. It felt a little bit like the ending of this was kind of like the Austin and Rock go home segment ahead of WrestleMania 17. I know everybody and their mama have seen it from the video package, the My Way video package, when they share the beer and they crash the beer against each other and then they start brawling with one another. Kind of felt like that, but in these two characters kind of way. Like, we don't have to wait. No bells, no belts. Let's go. Like that. And I liked how they played off of each other here. And I like Triangle of Madness once again getting involved, making themselves feel like a bigger threat to multiple women. And I like the fact that it made sense of them attacking Jamie Hayter and Queen Aminata because they wanted to keep them out of the way so they could attack during this face-to-face encounter. And then Harley Cameron coming out kind of plays into her having the back of Kris Statlander and their friendship. So this checked all the boxes. This was probably the highlight of the night outside of Jet versus Dax.
Yeah, and like I said earlier, the attack on Queen and Jamie was short, but it had a purpose. We just didn't really understand what the purpose was until this particular segment. And I like Tekla hopping on the mic as well, saying, hey, y'all, don't forget about me. I didn't lose that fatal 4-way match. Tony lost that.
Neither one of y'all beat me.
Yeah, you haven't beat me. You haven't beat me. Don't be overlooking me. We are here to take this over, and they are still clearly a threat. So and I do believe they did announce the trios match that's going to happen next week. Did they announce this? Yeah. Okay.
Next week, Collision, Homecoming. It's Triangle of Madness versus Timeless Toni Storm, Harley Cameron, and Kris Statlander, which should be the main event next week.
Sign me up for that. Yeah. We got Van Twinblade with a super chat saying Tony and Stat were gay, and I loved it. Some cut over that promo with Careless Whisper. Can they coexist? We also had Meat Normus chiming in saying that Tony Stat promo was spicy and juicy like the Jamaican jerk chicken I'm making. I have Tony losing, but winning the tag team titles with Mina. So spicy. I love the fact that, they haven't really established what the teams are yet for the women's tag team titles, but they've kind of established what the women's tag team titles have been over the last several months. Like, I thought maybe Harley and Stat would be a team, but the fact that Stat is now, or Big Stat Daddy is now the AEW Women's Champion. Now Harley's kind of like left floating. Do you think they put Harley and Mercedes together? Like, they wouldn't tease that for us this week without
it.
I've
been calling for this for months. I've been calling for this since before Grand Slam Australia. Put them together. They are gold together. That's the most entertaining Mercedes has been before the bell has rang in AEW was with Harley Cameron. Just put it together. Stop playing games. Who else is she going to team with? Come on. Who we kidding? Robin Renegade is probably the other option, which I'm all for giving people opportunities. But come on, man. Harley and Mercedes, they're just gold together.
You put those two together, people will immediately be invested. And that will be the team that everybody is rooting for at the end of the day. Because one, everybody loves Harley, because how could you not? Right. And it's just going to be one of those things where it's like the moment that Mercedes finally accepts Minnie Monet into her heart and just it's going to be beautiful. It's just going to be a beautiful
love story.
Yes. It's just going to be a beautiful moment. And I'd love it if, Minnie Monet is the one who gets the pinfall victory to set it up, or like they do some kind of like, Mr. Sacco Mandible Claw type finish with Minnie Monet.
Could do that.
Come on.
That's a lot of hair that can choke somebody. That's dangerous.
It could happen.
I also want to see Harley and Mercedes because I think that they would probably still, especially if they're going to have multiple like teams, not just over 8 teams in the tournament. I think they would put Kris Statlander in the tournament, and I would much rather them complete the story that they've been hanging on the hook for a year and a half now with Willow Nightingale and just have them reunite in the tournament as a tag team.
Sold. I'm with you on that one. Our main event tonight, our third trios match. It was Orange Cassidy, Kyle O'Reilly, and Roderick Strong defeating Rocky Romero, Lance Archer, and Hechicero. And the second SP3, the second that it was announced that Rocky Romero was in this match, I knew he was taking the L. Because anytime Rocky Romero is in a match for the Don Callis family, he is the fall guy.
Well, people need to understand, on an NBA basketball team, the backup point guard is a very important role. It doesn't get a lot of pomp and circumstance, and every team needs that, especially when you just sign an all-star point guard like the Don Callis family did this week with Andrade. They had to finagle some stuff. He had to get out of his contract, like Latrell Sprewell getting out of his Golden State Warriors contract and choking PJ Carlissimo. Andrade had to do some stuff to get out of his WWE contract and sign with the Don Callis family. Rocky he's riding the pine. He's on the bench. He's the backup point guard. He's here for the garbage time minutes. So yes, he did take the loss here. But I am glad that he is on the Don Callis family. He takes care of contracts. He takes care of us in other promotions. When we go to New Japan, we're taken care of very, very superbly because Rocky Romero has all the connections. So Rocky plays his role very well. This match was solid work, solid matchup here. Like the whole kind of outlier story that they told with Roderick still not really messing with any of these conglomeration members, and especially Orange, because he has like such a very dicey history with Orange Cassidy beating him for the international title last year. So yeah, I like that story that they played out here, and that Kyle got the win. I was surprised at first, and then they told us why he got the win in this trios matchup, as we're getting Kyle versus Kyle 2 on Dynamite on Tuesday.
So all of that, what you said, can I just shine a spotlight real quick on this? Just Kyle O'Reilly being willfully ignorant to all of the drama around him and just being this optimist, like everything is great in Conglomerama Land and all this other stuff. He's just like, yeah, that's what I'm talking about right there. Teamwork, baby. Where Roderick's like, I really don't want to do this, but all right, let's go. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Get fired up, baby. Let's go. Kyle O'Reilly, like, this is a guy who is maximizing his minutes. He doesn't get a ton of promo time, but he's impactful. If he's got 30 seconds, if he's got a minute, whatever it is backstage, he nails it. He hammers it. And you remember what he does on the show. And then he goes and he backs it up in the ring. He's very Mark Briscoe-esque in the way that he's just really fun to watch in the ring by not just his moves, but like the screaming and the in-ring trash talking and just his style that he performs in when from bell to bell. He's just an overall very entertaining performer. And this just smiley, optimistic, everything's going to work out, even though, y'all hate each other. I know we're all going to be best friends at the end of this. And at some point, that man's going to get his heart broken, and it's going to be just tragic and sad. But I'm enjoying the ride that we're on right now. I'm just going to enjoy it.
Eventually, he's going to have to get the rug pulled from him. But for now, I'm happy that he got the win. This does not really qualify as a main event to me. I don't know what I would have shuffled around. I probably would have shuffled around and done the Toni and Statlander promo as the main event of this show. I thought that's what they were going to do when we got to like the middle of the hour. What was at the middle of the show? I forget what was at the middle of the show. But that was another match where I was like, this could have been the main event, but it's not. So what's the main event? I was confused.
So like the top of the, like that, what would have been the 9 o'clock hour, but was the 8 o'clock hour tonight. Was that was the, what was that? Oh, Kevin Knight and Dax Harwood.
Yeah, that was the match. That was the match where I was like, I thought this was going to be the main event because that angle that they did 2 weeks ago on Dynamite was so good. So you could have had that be the main event of the show to kind of follow up on it strong. But it was in the middle of the show. That's still a good spot on the show. I just didn't think that Don Callis family versus Conglomeration Part 477 is the proper main event for this show.
Yeah, weird choice. I probably would have gone with the ladies as well, but if you wanted to do like, yeah, let's actually have like a main event match and not a main event segment. Yeah, with Megan Bain taking out Willow Nightingale, that probably would have been where I would have ended the show instead of having the Kyle versus Kyle stare down, which you could have easily, with the show being taped, organize this however the hell you wanted to, in all honesty. And if you needed to redub some play-by-play commentary, you had the option of doing that. So, but they decided not to. It is what it is. I think, again, overall, this was a spectacular segment. And by the way, incredible Latrell Sprewell reference, by the way, from you earlier. I might have gone with Antonio Brown, but I'm more of an NFL guy. But still,
deep cuts, man.
Yeah, very well done.
It's wrestling. It's old school wrestling references and old school basketball references. That's what I'm good for.
I forgot Latrell Sprewell even existed until you said his name, and then I'm like, oh my god, yeah, I remember that guy. What do you got going on? Where can people find all your good work, sir?
You can follow me on the Twitter machine at True Heel SP3. I did the True Heel Heat flagship podcast earlier today. Myself, Miss Chrissy Love, and the True Draw Josh talking about this week in wrestling, asking the question: was Andrade's AEW return the right move? What is NXT and TNA getting out of this partnership and invasion? We ask that as well. We talk about the week that was.
Hey, showdown, WWE. Not invasion. Showdown.
Yeah. So we talk about AEW, WWE, NJPW, CMLL, and much more. Go over and check that out. That's on the True Heel Heat YouTube channel right now. I'll be back live on Fightful channels. Fightful Overbooked on Tuesday, 10 a.m. Eastern time in the weeds with Jeremy Lambert, where we're going to talk about some Monday Night Raw and all the news in pro wrestling. And thank you guys for all the support and all the kind words. I did 3 straight post shows this week. Starting from Thursday with Joel Pearl on the Impact post show, and then yesterday with Kate on the SmackDown post show, and then today with Rick. So thank you to Fightful and all the great people, Kate, Rick, Joel, that asked me to be on the post shows this week, and thank you to all of you. Drop the thumbs up, show some love in the comments.
So I know that this comment here is playing off of Cresta believing that I am Blake Christian. But can I just say that myself and SP3 are the Fightful version of the Swirl. I think we are. I think we're good with that. We can just. I will happily carry that mantle right here on the Fightful.
The S in SP3 stands for shoddy. They call me Big SP3, Big Shoddy P3.
You guys can follow me on X at Rick Uccino, spelled RICKUCCHINO, and all of the work that I'm doing over on the Takedown on SI, which SP3 is also a part of that team as well, so you can catch all of his work there. And I think I'm actually going to make it 2 in a row next week. I think I'm going to be on for 2 straight collisions next week. Nobody gets sick at work. I don't have to get called in. None of this crap. Let's go. I would much rather be here on a Saturday night. Hey, TK, 7 p.m. start time. Keep them up. Well, actually, wait a minute. Isn't it on Wednesday this week?
No, it's getting taped on Wednesday. It's next Saturday. They just didn't specify what time it's going to start yet.
Okay, because I thought they might have put it on Wednesday, so they didn't go. But no.
Well, they why would they put the Collision on Wednesday? They would just put Dynamite on Wednesday if that was the case. Part of me was thinking, okay, because they typically move the shows when there is a WWE pay-per-view, but that WWE pay-per-view is at 8:00 in the morning. Exactly. It's no crossover whatsoever.
No problem. So that will be back. So we'll be back Saturday. Let's go. Have a great rest of your weekend, everybody.